Hello, one and all, and welcome back to Hippo Cup 9. Here we are with our first match of the quarterfinal stage. It's going to be pipotam versus Funyamorake. This is our all-Japanese team against the 4-digit D-ranker squad of pipotam. I am Hubba Wubba, doing this early morning solo cast, as I'm sure players have come to expect with regards to Hippo Cup and the early mornings. Gotta be up bright and early for you guys. pipotam, main players to look out for, gonna be Zero Ice, perhaps Zany, very strong players in their own right. But with this stage starting off, and with the skill cap raising so high up against what you are used to in these earlier stages of Hippo Cup, I'm curious to see how the players fare on these maps. Funyamorake, I believe, dominated their previous match. We're going to have a quick look at the match results. Yeah, Funyamorake 6-4 against Georgia's. Actually, a much closer affair than I thought it was, but Georgia's very strong team with those Greece and Spanish players. Meanwhile, pipotam were actually the ones that dominated, getting a massive upset 6-1 victory against Arthur Xfire. That was the all-Russian team that unfortunately just lacked the consistency on the day to make a run of it here in that earlier stage. Our first band, the first one coming out of pipotam was that Hard Rock 4, that is the slider tick map, Merry-Go-Round of Life, mostly slider aim focus. Unfortunate that it is being banned immediately because this is one of my favorite maps in this pool. Such a fun time from Hamano. Habib discovering Hamano is like insert biblical reference to finding something important here. I mean, Hamano, such a vast catalog of maps to scour through. Getting one last week in the reading slot on that Nomad 5, and getting one this week in that Hard Rock 4 Precision. Slider aim to the wayside, and Fremont 2 to the wayside is making plenty of sense with the pipotam roster in specific. I believe Zany is up there on the leaderboards for this map. It's like really dense, 240 BPM constant aim. Sort of plays like a stamina pick, but it's aim. It's testing your tapping durability if you're a single tapper. It's testing your full alt ability if you're full alting it, because of these triples just littered throughout. it's really dense and really stamina heavy, so falling to the wayside is going to be that one for Funyamorake. And DT4, the second ban for pipotam, that is the highest BPM map in the DT pool, sitting at 290, and that's another specific player scouting ban. Haga is so strong at these mid-star double times, will just make a absolute run for it, very consistent with the score farming, and likely to make that a bit of a showcase if you let it happen, but not going to be the case for this match, as pipotam making the smart ban. Final one to come through is Nomad 3. That's going to be the AR 9.3 Polka Dot Stingray Flake alt map. It's the densest alt map of the 4 alt maps in this pool. So with that density, adds a little bit of wrinkles in the game, and a little bit too much variance for Funyamorake to play ball with in comparison to those other two sitting in the Nomad 4 and Nomad 6 spots. But with that, it is pipotam to pick first, and if the bans were any indication, I feel the picks for pipotam are going to lie mostly in the control maps in this pool. Not really any tech in this pool. There's Nomad 6, which is alt that features a bit of hold sliders, and Hard Rock 2. But Nomad 5 first pick is going to be pretty smart, just immediately snapping into that reading. CS5 AR8 BPM 370. No hit sounds is the gimmick of this map. It's incredibly hard to gauge your rhythm on AR8 hidden with no hit sounds. It's just like a full gauging of sound based off the song itself, which on these older kinds of maps is not 100% accurate. So trying to get the perfect sort of balance between trying to figure out the rhythm without hit sounds, trying to read the AR8 proper. I mean, there's a lot of very wide angle jumps in this map, and with this being a first pick from pipotam, they're making use of that reading roster, looking at players like Zany, probably on the Nomad here. Pregnancy as well on this roster. Cheng, a solid member of this roster, probably to run the double hidden alongside Zany. Both of them hidden preference players in their own right. The big carry player for this match last time out was Zentoro. Zentoro played phenomenally in that previous match, was the top match cost by a fairly wide margin of seeing everything he opted in for. So I don't expect him to be in for this, but he is. And that is a shock to me because he mostly played the mechanics maps last time out, but I mean, he's on this hot streak. Who am I to deny the man? Really making a name for himself this Hippo Cup. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have standout and long-standing Japan team members, Rolpan, Furamon, Rikuima, Haga. This is going to be your main core for Funyamorake. They're going to be playing a good bulk of the maps here. Namely, Haga, Rikuima, Rolpan. You're going to be seeing them for pretty much every map in this pool. I feel like you'd be hard-pressed. It's these three with a rotating fourth, which for the reading in this case is going to be Furamon. I would imagine hidden to be on Rolpan and Haga in this instance. The old map jank, the finger control element's going to be paying dividends to a player like Haga in this instance, who is as well a hidden comfort player. Finding the early break is not going to be too big of a problem, given this map is 5 minutes long. It is the longest map in the pool, just about, by a fairly wide margin. So first 500 combo or so, fairly easy to get into. A traded break to come through for Zentoro, giving score advantage back to Funyamorake in this early outing. But Haga to trade it once again, and that modded score is going to make a little bit more of a difference. It's just that top row players adjacent to each other. The slider, though, it's Zentoro to break again, but Furamon, that second break, is now a firm combo advantage on the side of pipotam. Now that it is 3 FCs to none. Now back into this wiggle stream section. Very tricky, very easy to over-aim if you aren't prepped. It's Pregnancy to find an over-aim on one of those buzz sliders though. And the act drops on Funyamorake are actually evening out the score despite the score v1 for the just quick fleeting moment. But combo advantage is on their side, but that break from Haga keeping things even. Zentoro and Pregnancy's combined recovery combo match for a mon in the current moment. That break from Haga keeping pipotam barely floating above this 100k margin. Barely their lead, and it's their first pick too, so they need to hold on to the FCs as long as possible. Cheng with these act drops is not going to be a strong sight for sore eyes, but it's the aim taking out Rollpin. That's going to be the main reading specialist on this Funyamorake side. And with that, a handful of slider breaks from Zentoro and Furomon traded again. It's Haga and Pregnancy with a slight combo advantage on Pregnancy means Cheng is getting away with this extra FC free of charge as Zany is matching Rikuima. Wide angle jumps take out both of those recoveries on pipotam, but still, it is 2 FCs to 1. Rikuima doing his best to hold the line, but at the halfway point, you need a double break and you need it as soon as possible from Cheng and Zany to have a chance to solo carry this map. And Cheng finding a little bit of an opening for Ikuma here. Only 3 million of score difference before that break came through, and these wiggles are going to be a big point of contention as both of those FCs fall. It is every player in the lobby down. A little bit of cursor dance from some of these guys. That big wiggle, Pregnancy cheeses it as well as the slider ends for the highest combo in the lobby. Still just going to be maintaining this 3 million lead is pipotam for their first pick. But with that, with these rounding sliders, the back and forth patterns, a little bit of a simpler combo in this section. Pregnancy building it up just a bit here. Well, 500 combo pretty much has the other team swamped. That Zentoro break doing them a little bit of favors, but Zany and Pregnancy, their combos alone have Furomon, Rikuima, and Rollpan covered. Finally, the break from Pregnancy come through, but Cheng holding the line as well as that double break. And you're just going to need substantially more combo than this if you are a Funyamorake fan in the current moment. It's just a combined, slightly better team score for pipotam here. Furomon doing his best, actually. Pregnancy and Zany have him covered in the moment, but it is combo advantage on the side of Funyamorake. If they were to hold through this section, and you see an extra break from Pregnancy and Zany, there is a world, but it is the wide angle aim again, the equalizer in this map, taking out both of the supporting combos on their side. Once again, it's Zany, standout player, highest accuracy in the lobby by half a percentage. Actually, that is cap. Rikuima has him covered by about 1/100 in the current moment. Actually, they're dead even right now. So shout out to those two for the combined highest accuracy in the lobby. But to end the map, it is pipotam with a successful first pick, as long as it may be. Having a look at these miscounts, just the sole 1 miss for Zany. Handful of slider breaks to come through as well. 2 miss on Pregnancy for that supporting combo. Cheng finding a handful of chain breaks on the wiggles, but an overall solid combo to boot on both of those hidden players for the number 1 and number 2 score for their team. Now we await Funyamarake's next pick, and given the bans that have been given to us, I'm looking at maps like the Hard Rock 2, I'm looking at maps like the DT1, but it is to be Hard Rock 2 first. And Hard Rock 2, this is our other Hard Rock Tech map in the pool. Big winding slider aim here. And this is a very solid first pick for Funyamorake. Very strong hidden Hard Rock preference players on this team that got to show some of their mettle in the OWC proper, some of those new names for their side. Autolean as well, hopping in the lobby, watching the timer in the meantime, but Shopanpan, that is the name I was thinking of. Phenomenal Hard Rock player in his own right. Very strong on the flow and very strong on the tech. This map mostly featuring slider aim difficulty, a handful of aim control patterns on the in-between. But Shopanpan, one of those main players to look out for. You look on the side of Funyamorake, you see Zero ICC Perhaps actually a very interesting player on a map like this, because his two specialties, his two bread and butters, are the Hard Rock and the Tech. So seeing him on a map like this is very curious, and sort of begs the question why they banned that Hard Rock for. Maybe to goad them into picking something like this. He is a sort of a specialist of the skill set, but Funyamorake just has so much Hard Rock preference on their side. Haga able to play all mods on the hidden Hard Rock for this roster. And Furamon again, running the core, no roll pan in for this one. Not really known as a Hard Rock player, but pipotam has there for Hober. I believe not playing any map in the previous match, but going to be in for this one. For this Hard Rock 2 tech pick. 4 minutes, we're going back-to-back longest maps in the pool, I believe. For this HR2 Nomad 5 first pick combo. Good looks in the chat, and actually a final roster switch out. Zero Ice backing out for Kemsey. Another player who I don't believe played many maps last time out. Was it mostly DT Phil for the pipotam team in the previous match? So you'd be interested to see how he performs in this one. On the other side though, same roster. No switches for Funyamorake. Hidden Hard Rocks on Haga and Shopanpan. Hard Rock proper on Perhaps, Hober, Furamon, and Rikuima. A little bit of asymmetry in the mod placement slot-wise, but Space Angel is the pick. Map starts and ends with these slow slider ticky, slightly wiggly patterns you gotta go through. Just a little patience medal, a little accuracy build up before the big break. The proper map, I'd say, is more like 2 minutes of really, really tough Hard Rock tech. You have very high velocity sliders, you have these aim control patterns in between. Not really, it's more flow than snap, but it really is like demanding accuracy wise. Lots of linears and kick sliders, but it really just throws you in the deep end immediately, and you're gonna see that double break from Zentoro and Perhaps and Shopanpan come to shine. It is still 3 FCs down, but breaking early like that is only a loss of 80 combo. Not too much in the grand scheme of this map, seeing as it is one of the longer maps in the pool, but not really big on the combo density, but these perfect stacks, these Hard Rock tech patterns, and that is a pretty sizable disadvantage for pipotam here as they drop those 3, and Furamon, Shopanpan on some pretty hefty recoveries to boot. Just about a 800k difference in this section. And just like that, it's another 3 down, perhaps running a little bit of a solo ship on this pick. And this is the interesting thing about a ban phase, I think, as Rikuima and Haga hold on to the double FC. It is perhaps on the other side, but talking on ban phase, like, normally if you are weak on a skill set that shows up twice in a pool, you want to just ban both of that skill set and hope the other team doesn't really notice your other weakness. Like, on paper, pipotam, a pretty strong mechanics team. Like, if you just banned both Hard Rock tech maps outright, I think it would not have been too shabby of a result. But right now, it is just Funyamorake fully running away with this, perhaps holding on to this recovery, not FC, but the double FC on Haga and Rikuima. Phenomenal accuracy on Haga, actually. 98 is unreal on a pick like this, especially with Click X on Slider Tech. Like, I am seeing something special here. I feel like this is unreal. So fun finding that break, but pipotam is so far behind. This is just a really constant build-up here as map ends. Faramon with a final slider break. Didn't really feel like aiming this these handful of ending sliders, but there is your diff spike, and that is a double FC confirmed now for Haga and Rikuima. Matched slider ends as well for the two of them. pipotam not with a bad score themselves, but Haga, Rikuima, 2 players to look out for. Rikuima, one of the bastions of Japan tournament scene. You don't see Japan players too very often in open rank tournaments, but Rikuima, one of the exceptions, and Haga, 5,000 number ones to the name. You would be remiss to not have seen the name in many a location, unfortunately, to drop the slider break at the tail end, but not gonna matter. Still 1 FC and 1 very strong support from the side of Funyamorake. I mean, it's basically a double FC. Who am I to knock him down for the 30 combo div, full chocolate up to slider ends? But very strong score from Funyamorake for a first pick. Opposite pipotam. Relatively low miscounts across the board. Most of your breaks are going to be on the slider ticks in that map, so makes plenty of sense for those 0 misses on a handful of players. But back on over to pipotam, and if the No Mod 5 was any indication, I do feel as though something like the Free Mod 1 would be not too shabby here. As with these reading specialists inbound, Zany hopping into lobby. The alt maps, also not a bad shout. I would probably avoid No Mod 4, but I feel like No Mod 6 is pretty safe bet. But that is not what I was anticipating. At least not this early in the match. That is DT5, picked by pipotam. Switched on Lotus. 2 hidden double time FCs on the solo leaderboard for this map, one of which posted up by Ethan Tricks just 2 days ago in preparation for his Hippo Cup match. Handful of DT only FCs actually by a number of players. Notably, actually, let me have a look at the no-fail leaderboard real quick. No-fail, hidden double time. Okay, I'm not really seeing many players up in here from these matches, so keeping their scores a little secret from us. Lean hopping in the lobby for this one. I'm unsure if a proper roster member or the like, but pipotam likely to put Zany in for this one, since this is an AR 10.3 and it's this sort of flow, aim control, old style beat map. Of course, your classic Kirby mix affair with the overlapping patterns and very what's the word? Very just like weird wiggles, right? Like it's not even proper wiggles. It's just like the super symmetrical patterning flow. Bit scary for Funyamorake on this one, but they do have a solid roster for it. Rollpan, known for strength on these older kinds of maps, and Rikui Mahaga, solid duo on the double times. Furomon, flow aim specialist for the team. Solid quad there. Zentoro, Pregnancy Kemzi for the roster of pipotam. Pregnancy, she notably taking the hidden here. Not really known to take the hidden on these kinds of maps in other instances. But immediately a double break, triple break for pipotam. This is one of those maps in the pool where it is solo carryable, but to what extent would that be the case with current combo advantages? It's Haga and Rollpan, both of the hidden double times on the side of Funyamorake to hold on to their combo in this early beginning for a 100k difference, but you're seeing breaks fly all over the place. Most recent of which to be on Rikuima and Kemzi in that quick moment. Fromon as well, but none of the major combos. Zentoro Pregnancy, the double recovery, able to match Haga and now Swamp Haga as they take a massive combo lead in that one section. But Zany FC down. Rollpan holding on to the Soul High combo now, but the roundabout section there is gonna do it right before the key on. No combos to be seen anywhere on the board except maybe Kemzi, but 200 combo in this, not super depth heavy. The high FC on this map is 1.2k combo, so you're looking for 600 or higher to reach that halfway point. Kemzi holding on to the key eye is going to be more than enough. Pregnancy with these breaks, she's not too happy with the performance there, but Furomon and Haga looking to stage a coup, looking to stage a little bit of a comeback. If Kemzi and Zany find any breaks, it's right side versus left side fully. 4 players to look out for. I feel like I'm going cross-eyed trying to catch any breaks from those high combos. Rollpan as well, solid recovery in this in-between section. Big roundabout section. And Rikuima and Rollpan supporting combos to fall. Kemzi, that was the biggest one. It's Haga Furomon still holding on as we hit our second key eye. But there goes every combo but Zany's. And Zany, as advertised, standout player so far in this matchup. When the skill cap hits a point where these kinds of maps are solo carryable, having just one specialist like this in a matchup of this skill level will do the trick. And Zany, standout player in both the Nomad 5 and this DT5 for this matchup. 600 combo at the tail end, make it 700, most iconic pattern of the map, and it is hit by Zany. Everyone else in the lobby exploding. Zentoro actually with a really solid supporting combo there. It's the ending as well. But Zany, 9 million score on this SP1. Gonna be enough. Just the one miss from Zentoro nearly directly in the middle of the map is quite tragic, but Zany, main player to look at there with that massive nearly 800 combo too. Back on over to Funyamorake for the next pick. going to be Hard Rock 3 going into Paranoia. They have scouted out a slight weakness here in pipotam with regards to the Hard Rock. This overall is a pretty comfortable map, could lead to some other avenues if it goes in their favor. Plenty of flow aim and Hard Rock specialists on Funyamorake looking to make use of that strength here. Chopin, of course, hopping back in the lobby. Phenomenal flow aim player and Hard Rock comfort on Chopin. Just waiting for everyone to flood in the lobby. Rafuna hopping in for this one. That's a player that we have not seen in any previous match, I don't believe. Or if they did, I don't recall. No Haga in for this one because it is flow aim stamina, I would presume. I've never seen Haga on a straightforward Nomad 2 style map, so I don't know how the Click X fares there. But Foster's in for pipotam. It's Hober, Kemsey, Zentoro, and Cheng. For the flow aim, Cheng to be taking the hidden alongside Kemsey, I presume. Nope, it is Hober with the extra hidden. Hidden, more of a... Or normally on Hidden Hard Rock is more just negligible, but on Hidden Hard Rock flow aim in particular, it's about potentially finding under aims and over aims. I do not believe that player is disconnected. That is just a client explosion on our end, getting fixed momentarily with a quick reset. As we hop into this Hard Rock 3 Paranoia. It's just like C-Mob style kinda Hard Rock flowing. It's very standard for a modded flame slot. It is a stud and break from Rafina traded by Zentoro. Very volatile entrance into this one. Hober, Chopin matching combos there, but Kemsey finally to drop that second FC and Funyamorake suddenly with massive lead. And this is going to be a really solid venture into how the higher combos affects this SV1 scoring system, because these early breaks are going to matter so high, especially as the stamina really starts to crank up at the end of that first PI, is when you really start to feel in your arm. And Cheng with that break, it's 3 uncontested combos, 2 of them being FCs from Funyamorake. Hober trying to run the solo ship, recovery combos being built up by Zentoro, Cheng, and Kemsey, but so long as the FCs hold, it is all for naught in the current moment. A 11 million lead and climbing for those players. And that double break, that's the final FC down for pipotam. Kemsey, Zentoro with these recovery combos are purely matched by Chopin, especially now that Zentoro is broke. And this has turned into a phenomenally strong pick for Funyamorake, who are looking to really get away with it. Even though Requima broke, I mean, Chopin, Rafuna, essentially a double FC in its own right, only 100 combos separating the 2 of those top players. Rafuna to find the drop, no more FCs, but Chopin making a show of it with a 99.24. And this is just a phenomenal team score from Funyamorake. Finally, the fall from Chopin. But there is no coming back for pipotam on this pick. Just a handful of ending flowing patterns to round us out, the linears into rounded off sections. Incredibly comfy, but the stamina so unrelenting. No pauses in these flows. 195 BPM uncontested. And Rikuima finishing out in style with the top combo. But solid work from all the members on the side of Funyamorake. Phenomenal team score, 20 million on 3 of the players on the roster. None to scoff at. Back on over to the side of pipotam, we've been seeing a pretty vast difference in not only picking strategy, but the score lines with those picks. Scoreline for that last pick was pretty large by the tail end of it. Same as comparatively, like percentage-wise, pipotam not as high of a score margin on their picks like that DT5. Going into No Mod 6, leading into these Ultra maps, we'll have to see how much of a difference these alt maps makes. There's 3 of them in the pool. The No Mod 3 was banned because it is the densest of the 3. This is the second most dense, hence it is the pick by pipotam. Plenty of solid snap and flow control players on that team, and if the DT5 was any indication, they do have a bit of an edge in that skill set. We'll have to see if the lower BPM is an advantage or a disadvantage, or perhaps the modern styling also could do a little bit of the trick. But hidden players hopping in for each side. It's Cheng, perhaps Kemsey, and Zany in for this one. Noza and Toro taking a little bit of a break here after those first 3. Rikuima, Furamon, Burning John is present for this match. Burning John is a player that is not Japanese. This is very notable because I really want to know the conversation that went down that led to Burning John joining the all-Japanese team. He is from the Netherlands. I believe was on the OWC team. Oh, this is Manivat, actually. Very strong tournament player in their own right. 4 badges to the name. And a part of the All Japan team for a reason. I'm sure there's one. But this is the first map he's been in all tournament, to my knowledge. Since I've casted all their matches so far, I'm pretty sure. So, nearly managing to avoid all of groups to come in specifically for this No Mod 6. It is a very early break from Rikuima, then matched by perhaps in the later goings. The later the combo break, the better the score advantage for the holder. Rikuima with that recovery going to be a bit of an advantage for Funyamorake here, but that double break from Burning John and Furamon matched by Kemsey perhaps still throwing a wrench in plans. Incredibly volatile is this quarterfinals pool, and Manivat with a second break, getting perhaps first map of tournament nerves. But that's not going to be the story here. It's the double FC on pipotam versus the two-way hold on Funyamorake. But that break from Rikuima and Chang, it's 1-1 now. Perhaps with a recovery combo advantage on the side of Funyamorake with Furamon and Burning John together, going to be giving them a slight edge. But Zany with the break there, the slider break, the slight under aim. And suddenly Haga making a show of it. He was incredibly strong on that Hard Rock 2 and showing it once more on this pick, the Click X ult and rhythm, the accuracy all coming to fruition. And what a performance on this B map. These angles are so dense and overlapped, especially when paired with hidden. The hold sliders finally an over-aim to find the chain miss, but not before bolstering a 2 million lead. There is no combo on the side of pipotam, so Furamon running John Rikuima going to be fully running away with this one for the first breakpoint of the match in 5 maps in. And that had to be the story, right? You couldn't just have Zany solo carrying the entire time. He's still the top player on his team. But Haga taking the reins and pulling his own team up by the bootstraps with double the score, a 6 million to boot. Half of the total score of pipotam. He's running a 1v2 gauntlet on their side to overtake the first breakpoint of the match. And with that breakpoint, it's back over to Funyamorake looking to capitalize here. I am really unsure of where they go here. I don't think they continue with Hard Rock 1. They might go Nomad 2 because HR 3 was so one-sided. That's the other flowing map in this pool, or like stream focus map in the pool. There's not really any speed in this pool. The only semblance of it was that DT4 which got banned. Or I suppose Fremont 3 is available as well, but it's sort of playing in a different ballpark to your DT speed. But it is going to be the Fremont 3. They will pick the tapping, or what is left of it here. And we are going into Wandered. There is a plethora of tapping players on each of these teams and that could be running away with this one on the free mod. Wandered, this map originally was a OWC free mod pick. Making its comeback now on the Hippo Cup pool in the same spot. Funyamorake likely to continue utilizing Haga's very good day on whatever he's been playing to make this work alongside Rikuima, main mechanics players on that team, as they are the main players on that team, kinda period. They've been really shredding these maps so far. But on the other side, you have Zero Eyes, Hober, Kemsey, and likely to be Zentoro in that final slot. Opposite side, Furamon, Yama Darkness. Yama Darkness on the team specifically for the mechanics. Has not been present in match for much else. And in we go with Wandered. It's 236 BPM. Break core mechanics on the free mod pool. Hidden is a little simpler to take than Wait, does pipotam have enough mods? We need an abort, maybe, or I'm unsure if we have a mod that didn't load on pipotam or if they just don't have enough mods. Because they'd need 2 mods. They need to restart, like, ASAP. I'm gonna ping the ref. Okay. We caught it in time enough. It's halfway through the map, but like, yeah, that's that's not gonna cut it. We caught it late, but it's better than not catching it at all because the rule is 2 modded player. It's not 2 hidden. It's 2 mods overall. Okay, there we go. They got another player on some sort of mod. I guess we'll see. They did have the lead at the halfway point. We'll have to see how hidden changes that. But like, you should have had 2 mods. Well, nobody to blame but yourself, unfortunately, for that one. Okay, we do see the hidden from Kemsy and Zero Eyes now. Proper mods on proper players. They initially ran the triple no mod. I don't know if it was a mistake. They did hold a lead going into that abort, but you know, these things happen. We'll have to see how hidden makes the difference. It is Zero Eyes taking that hidden. Makes sense that they wouldn't want to take Hard Rock on this one. But immediately it is the quad break for pipotam, and you can tell that the abort did not do them any favors mentally. As immediately it is the quad, not FC, but quad recovery combo being held on by Funyamorake. That extra break from Hober, a little bit tragic here. And that hidden on Zero Eyes, he is not a fan of the hidden, but rules are rules. You need your 3 mods, or 2 mods per team, whether they be Hard Rock or hidden on the free mod pool. And with that, I mean, this is a very different outcome from what we would have seen otherwise, but sure they're taking the mods. Really solid stuff from Furamon, Rikuima, Yama, and Haga, all with over 10 million of team score. $53 by the tail end of it. You see a little shake from Yama at the end, but really solid stuff from the comeback kid. As Funyamorake with a consolidated break point. But just like that, that is a 2-4 on the side of pipotam for their next pick. Trying to get their get back after the unfortunate circumstance of that previous map. HR1 is the pick here, and going into the Amir picks, this is sort of adjacent to those old maps. I suppose it's 240 BPM snap aim. This is as close as you're getting to that free mod 2 ban, which I do like, but with the forced hard rock and with the lack of tapping here, I feel like this sort of lacks the same edge that the free mod 2 has with regards to stamina difficulty. Getting players in now. It does seem like Cheng is going to be in for this one. I would imagine it's a similar roster to other Hard Rock maps, looking for players like Cobra, like Zentoro, like Kemsey in that 4th spot. There's the 4 for Funyamorake. Wait, no, that's Cap. Zero Ice is in the wrong spot. Rafuna in place of Zero Ice in the current moment as they get switched up here. Fact or cap once more, no Zero Ice. Hello, Pregnancy. This makes plenty of sense actually. Pregnancy, standout aim player for the side of pipotam, likely to be taking the hidden hard rock here if I had to imagine. In we go with this Hard Rock 1. It is Bang Bang. It is the classic loved map. Plenty of snap aim, known for its very volatile diff spikes in a handful of sections. It's relatively lax for most of the map, other than the massive diff spikes. A very, very early break from Yama Darkness, going to be just a slight advantage for pipotam that they're looking to keep in their favor. The difference of 150 combo in this early section. But it is the back and forths to take out Zentoro, who is unfortunately having a very tricky match here. Back and forth once more for Cheng. Here's the first diff spike. It's Haga to find the traded drop, but still combo advantage firmly on the side of Funyamorake. Currently 2 FCs and 1 very strong recovery from Yama. Hemsey dropping the SS, another one down for pipotam, and what may be a tremendous mispick here. The Hard Rock players are not doing too hot, but that is a triple break both sides. Rikuyama still holding on to the only FC in the lobby after that massive diff spike, and that is what the diff spike foretold was to bring. chaos bringing down to all the members in the lobby, except for Rikuima, 99% and growing. Hidden Hard Rock FC, intact. Nowhere else on the screen really to glue your eyes. It is matched accuracies for both Kemzi and Rikuima as well. Haga slightly above by 1/100. And Funyamorake just looking so consistent in this stage where you just need one solid hold in your roster. As we hit the next div spike, it's the big triangles, it's the winding patterns. Unfortunately, nobody to hold the Zentoro, but it is far too little too late for Zentoro. I do believe at this point he would have to call back 5 million team score, but there is just not enough combo density at the tail end to make it count. Despite hitting the hardest section in the map for Zentoro, his miss directly in the middle is going to be enough for Funyamorake to hold. But it will get a smidge closer by the tail end. Regardless, it's the ending to such a tragic loss for pipotam. But it is Funyamorake with the 3,500,000 advantage. And the second break point, momentum firmly in their camp and continuing to grow. If they were to consolidate once more, they will be at match point. The fates of the tournament of this winner bracket match firmly in the hands of Funyamorake in the current moment. With that phenomenal performance from Rikuima, 7/100s, 2 misses, a great carry on their side. And with that, it is free mod 4. And this is a curious pick. It's like the Gale. This is CS1 sort of flow control type map, higher PPM. But the CS1 really adds some variance here. A little bit of reading involved as well. A handful of stop and go stacks in some of the overlap patterns. And with this map in particular, I mean, this is one of the simpler maps in the pool. Maybe not simpler in terms of skill set variety, but simpler in terms of difficulty. A lot easier to access in this pool, as has been standard for the free mod slot so far, or free mod 4 slot. I'm unsure if it's intentional, but free mod 4 has always been feeling a little bit easier than the rest of the pool skill set wise. So Funyamorake picking into this, likely for consistency reasons. Same as their HR3 pick, they just had really solid team score overall, and they're looking to capitalize once more for this map. Zero Ice is on the wrong side again, but that's okay, as we figure out who is actually going to be in on this map. I would imagine Zany hops in here, easy specialist, the high CS, not going to be a problem. But surprisingly enough, no Zany in. It's Kemzi, Hobers, and Toro perhaps. Maybe to run a full Hard Rock overmod? I would assume. I wouldn't see any other reason why these players would be in on this map. This is like the mechanic / Hard Rock roster for the pipotam side. Maybe they figured the CS1 not too bad of a deal. The AR10 gonna be removing some of the density difficulty here. But a quick load in. And actually, no, 3 Hard Rocks and a no mod. Why not, man? It is, however, 3 mods on the other side as well. The hidden to come through for Haga. This map littered with quads and different rhythm jump scares. Those first 1/6 quads going to be striking out Manivat and Zentoro in specific. Matched combos everywhere else. It's a 4 combo difference between Zentoro and Manivat, but right now the accuracy being the equalizer. Just a very, very slight combo advantage on Funyamorake. About a 20k score diff prior to our first PI here. One of the shorter maps of this pool, just about that 2-minute mark. And you're looking for any sort of hiccups in the game, any sort of uncertainty. It's significantly harder to find unintentional breaks at this circle size. But there it is with the very, very slight overaim on the kick slider jumps for Perhap and Hober. Both of them finding a slider break there. The Haga only one to trade it, so it is 2 combos to just a 1. The double FC. Actually, single FC, only Rafuna on the FC. It's recovered combos for both Burumon and Burning John. But we are wading into a massive diff spike section towards this tail end that might change the tides. It's Zentoro to drop. It's the chain quads. Kemzy to continue holding on, but it is still just 3 combos from Funyamorake. And it is the team score difference. Kemzy running a solo bracket on this Hard Rock map, but it is all for naught as Furamon and Manivat. Phenomenal team score from Funyamorake once again, going to be a 10 million score advantage to them by the end of the map. And with that, Funyamorake has confirmed a big, beautiful match point on their side. And even with that, the only break on Haga being that slider break, 99.4 highest stack in the lobby for him, as has been a consistent in this match so far. Phenomenal accuracy overall. 777 up top, 7 100s. Who's feeling lucky? But pipotam, surprisingly enough, they banned the DT4 and left the DT1 open. No DT1 pick in those opening maps from Funyamorake, so they figure, okay, if you're not going to pick our weakness, we'll pick it ourselves. Maybe the DT4 turning into a little bit of a bluff, a little bit of a bait there? Because for all intents and purposes, the maps are fairly similar. This one a little bit more simple with regards to aim comfort. It is a Fjalling? How are you pronouncing that? Chat, how are you pronouncing this mapper name? I think it's Fjalling. But like, generally this mapper a little bit more comfortable on the DT aim side, but it's only a 20 BPM difference, 270 to 290. This map technically a little bit more accessible, but surely not enough to make a DT4 banned, I would imagine. But Funyamorake on match point, I mean, they have won the last 5 maps in a row for what has been a mostly one-sided performance. Full rosters in now. It is Perhap hopping in over Zentoro, which is quite surprising for this map, but I mean, roster changes required in dire moments like this. If you're not feeling like you're having your best day, having a swap out is the best case scenario, but no, it is Zentoro back in. Zentoro not able to match his performance from last weekend where he was the hard carry, but regardless, Zentoro back in the lobby. Mechanics roster for Funyamorake also in. This is the roster that took home both the Hard Rock 1 and the Fremont 3 victory in their previous breakpoint, as well as their consolidation point. Can pipotam stop the bleeding and make a miraculous comeback? That is the question that will be answered by this DT1. 270 BPM, incredibly standard, incredibly comfortable, one of the more comfortable maps in this pool. But hoping with these early breaks, not a sign for Sorrow Eyes. Zero Ice as well to find a early break, as Zentoro and Kemzy make it just Kemzy, and things are falling apart at a rapid pace for pipotam, and this was sort of the worry going into this match. Would the skill cap be too much? And the answer is seeming so in the current moment, as things continue to build for Funyamorake. All 4 FCs being held on to. Zero Ice Kemzy still remaining to have problems. It is no major combo on pipotam. The double recovery on Hover and Zentoro match only but one of the combos on Funyamorake, and at the break they see the damage. They see the deflated cursors, unfortunately, from those players as they prepare to hold on tight, but the Quad FC is being held on, and Funyamorake know what they need to do. It is all gas, no brakes. No gamble, no future, as they continue full steam ahead on this DT1. They weren't picking it out of weakness, but rather just weren't feeling like it, seemingly. It's Yama Darkness to finally drop one of those FCs, but Yama Darkness making his return to the tournament scene after like 4 years can be cut some slack in this instance, because the other 3 FCs are looking so phenomenal. It is but a single 100 or 2 for Haga, actually going to pull up the solo rank leaderboards for this map, because this may be in contention for number 1. Oh, guess who holds number 1 on the beat map, guys? It's Haga 1115. So it doesn't matter that he dropped that 100, because he has number 1 on the map anyway. Whatever, man. It's recovery combos being built up for 3 of the members on pipotam, but it just doesn't matter because Rikuima and Haga are doing the thing. Like, it's 20 million score on each of them. They're going to 1v4 the beat map in this current pace. A GG being written by Kemzy, the writing on the wall, but all eyes fully on Haga and Rikuima, the double FC, the tandem core for Funyamorake, who have top scored every map so far in this matchup. 24 million on the both of them to the 28 million on pipotam. Nearly a 1v4 scheduled outing for Funyamorake, who have tripled up on pipotam's potential score there. What a phenomenal performance from them to close out the match in a 6-point win streak. What a phenomenal performance from Haga in particular, top-acking every map he played and getting MVP in 3 of them. That is going to be one to look out for in the stats sheet later on. But that was only the first match of the weekend. We got plenty more coming to you during this beautiful Saturday. Having a look at our bracket schedule, we do have some extra matches scheduled for 16:30 through 18 UTC, both on our A and B streams. We have 4 scheduled for you there, so don't miss a beat. We'll be back at ya in about 3 hours for our continued coverage of the Hippo Cup 9. And with that, we'll see you then. I've been Hubba Wubba. Thank you to Flapjack for the stream and to Scotty for the ref, and we'll catch you on the flip side.